Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith, the New Black VTF here at T3 Live with another weekend market wrap up. And a reminder, we got a conference here in Chicago next weekend if you can make it, May 13th and 14th here in Chicago. A lot of good stuff here with myself and people who have been doing this for a long time. Love to meet you and show you what we do. If you want to come, all you got to do is email customer service at t3live.com or call 1-888 998 3548. All right, let's get to it. Anywho, so SPY and the market pulls in a little bit for the week to start off. But the question here is, what is this? We just a little garden variety pull in after a huge run here. You can see with just a little bit steeper than we've seen, but that was pretty steep on the way up. So for the week, SPY continues to remember the broadening formation, higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low, higher high, and now some corrective action. So the question is, does this continue? These lower highs on the weekly, lower lows, and just keep this the drudgery of the walking down? Because if you're trying to trade the futures, you're driving yourself nuts. These dojis isn't doing no range at all. If you go to the QQQ, it's been a little steeper here, a little tougher. I mean, you can see today, lots of things gapping on the lows and coming back up. We'll see how that goes. So when we were looking this morning, and you get all that kind of action right out the chute with the jobless claims number, we'll get on to the 60, and he goes opens on the lows and goes shooting back up. Then it looked like it was the end of the world. Come down, take out some slight lower lows, and come popping back up in here. And so what we're watching there, we didn't get it in the SPY, but one of the important things you want to do is watch all the broader averages together to see what's going on in the major sector. So FAS, you can see that did that and then comes down. And this was the opening 60 range, but was still towards the higher end of it. And then an inside 60 that then took that out and drifted higher. If you go to the QQQ, an inside 60 here calls the lows. Remember, that's important because that's an equilibrium. Couldn't go to a higher high, couldn't go to a lower low. So if it's really going to go down, that would have been a rest before more selling, which we did not see. A rest and then retrace back up. We also knew that the VXX and the VIX and friends doing nothing on that. So even when we did drift towards the lows and take out some lows, VIX was not reacting, and that was a good clue that things were going to be all right. And so if you looked at the Dow Jones Diamonds, you had that opening 60 range, then 1, 2 hours inside. Tries to tick down. Now, the thing about ticking down here, could it have rolled down and take it out? Sure. But we had that VIX going on, and we had a lot of other more evidence that that was just an aberration. So it ticks down, goes rev strat, which means take out the inside bar back to the upside. And so what's important to remember is when you look at something inside, you'll be like, oh, that's inside that. Well, the whole thing is within this range. So really you had to take that out or that out. And so even taking this out was going to be a tall order to take all the way out there, and at least until it got down into here and started thinking about it. So just a little dinky-do there. But then back up. And so when you want to combine things at that point, and that goes 60 up, then we would go to Walmart, because Walmart, this 60 here, coincides with an inside day. So when things were getting hairy, the question is down, sideways, measured move out of this. But when things were getting hairy in the market, Walmart too strong to take out yesterday's lows and an inside day equilibrium. So when things started to recover, that was one of the things we went straight to. So another thing that we're watching, obviously, is the gold. And one of the things I do in the morning is I tweet out hashtag mind the gap, and that's the gappers that we're looking at. And at the end of the day, I'll tweet out inside days in the broader averages or key stocks or sectors that I see. And so yesterday we were watching the Nugget, J-Nug, J-Nugger here, and the inside day just exploding to the upside off of those inside days. So you might want to follow that at Robin the Black, because gold here, gold's still stuck. Gold was almost an inside weak, but takes it out slightly. And so this is potentially a momentum hammer. And the reason that would work is that anybody short gold had their chance down in here, didn't cover, and now come shooting back toward the highs. We can expect some stops to be on the highs. If you can combine that with real buying, oftentimes you can see a pretty good move, because it's still lagging. As you can see, like the Nugget and all this stuff had a pretty rough week into here, but now recovering up, but still a higher low. But this move here still way outperforming that gold. And so we want to see if that if the underlier is going to continue up. So we'll watch that hammer starting off next week. Another thing that we've seen, that when we see the SPY do this and just start going to this corrective activity, and the Q's the same, is we're not seeing everybody rotate out of the market. We're seeing certain sectors firm up. So we saw the utilities go inside week and up this week, and you saw XLP staying green and going out on the highs inside week and up. And the REITs, VNQ, here just exploding to the upside. And so just knowing that that money is still rotating and just wanting yield, that's a positive thing. It's also, sometimes I'll see people that their universe is too small. They're watching the same stocks all the time, and I know there's ways to know the certain characteristics of the price action of certain names, but it is important to be able to have go-tos in different sectors when they're strong. Something like this one, like when the Q's going to go up? I'm like, who cares? That is going up, and then you can go to a main name like SPG. Inside week and up, that was real nice there too. All right, if we could take a look at oil, crude oil going inside week, and so that's important here too. Do we stall out and start dropping back in like people have been waiting for, or is this just another rest before ripping back up into there? Because we're seeing the XLE here came in a little bit, XOP here coming in a little bit. The question is whether it's still within the realm of this minor uptrend, if you will. So inside week for crude oil, certainly going to keep an eye on that. I look for actionable signals inside bars, hammers, and countering of inside bars, as you know. Sometimes I look at things, and this week it was in the last weekend's video, and you can find the weekend video at Smiths in the Black on YouTube, all one word. And there was just a couple names that I was solely off of time frame continuity, because when you see the SPY doing this once again on the daily, here just doing this grinder lower and doji and grinder, I'm going to look for something like LMT. Thing doesn't know red. It just keeps going and going in new highs, and see if there's anything else in there. And Triple L was doing the same. So we're on those this week. And then for aerospace defense, as far as the Dow Jones is concerned, we'll see if Boeing wants to join that party, as Boeing is going inside week. Another problem we had is that the retail, XRT having a rough one here. And you can see this triangle here needed to grow, and it got it back up to the apex, and then boom, we're right back down to there. And we'll see if this is just shake them up, but certainly having a tough time in the IBB, still puking and having a rough time there as well. So there's rotation into some sectors, the defense, and we'll have to see if that continues, and out certainly out of these. And VRX, another nice one here. One things that we'll look for during the day is certainly relative performance. When the market's going up, things that are going down. And so this thing went inside 60 here and didn't have a chance. Down, sideways measured move, fell apart. Real nice trade there for the end of the day. Another bugaboo here is the trannies. And the tranny's doing the waka down, but you gap down lower here and start to come back. So the question is, can you make any higher highs on the daily, stuff like this? And you do come into some support like that here on the weekly. So we'll see how that goes, because you got Delta would set up as a RevStrat day on Monday, inside day countered with that. But the airline's still having all sorts of trouble here, as you can see, in FedEx. They brought that in, but now hammer off that. So tranny's still a bugaboo as well. Big cap techer, though, we got Facebook going inside week near the highs of ever here, to see if we can take that. And Google, I want to see if they can forgive that too. Inside week for Google. One of the other things I'll look at the end of the week is, do we have any monthlies that we wanted to know about? The monthly breaks to start off the month. And then each week, the weeklies will confirm or negate stuff like that. And so we had earnings, which helped out, because Yelp goes inside month and up, and an inside week and month up combo. And that's very strong, especially if you can get the positive news to help out. And you certainly did. Yelp was a real nice one to go after today. KIM is also inside month, and that's a REIT. And so we need to go after that. Here you go, inside month and up, when you have that inside week and up in the REITs themselves. IAC's been real nice here, this IAC Interactive, inside month, as you can see here. The question was this, is a rest before more dumping, or have they done what they're going to do to her? And it looks like they have, and right back up, so that's still going to be on our watch list. So if we go to some of that Dow Jones stuff, we do have also with the oil, you have an inside week for Exxon hanging around. Johnny John's going to be pretty tight, inside week there. So we'll take a look at that. If we go to back to the monthlies for a second, the problemo, because we've been coming in right out the chute here, slightly red on the month, not the end of the world, is that we do have more monthlies breaking to the downside so far, and albeit not tremendously, but Intel slightly, GE, MNK. You've got Costco in the retail. You've got PSX in the refiners with Tesoro both trying to break inside months to the downside. Blue in the bios, slightly inside month and down, and PVH more retail stuff to start that off. But to go to the weeklies, um, we got FCX going inside on the week to see how that holds. You got Mr. Softy there in the Dow and Qualcomm for inside weeks. NXPI. You've got LinkedIn, so we keep an eye on all how those inside week breaks. And then that Walmart, although it was up today, was still an inside week. We'll see if this is just, once again, some corrective action within this. And now you got an inside week to keep an eye on. Also, Dow Jones Home Depot inside week near the highs. UNH in the Dow, and we can inside week, and we can watch that with Aetna and the other HMOs to see how that goes. Just a couple here in the, you got NOV in the Earls and Noble Energy. We'll keep an eye on that, and I always like to keep an eye on this win to see if this is corrective activity, then inside week, and how it gets outside of that. So, as we start to just continue to walk down in the SPY, it's really every day. This future stuff has just been a mess, and it's a lot easier to go case by case, sector by sector. And so, like I said, I tweet out at Robin the Black in the morning, mind the gap, to look for the gap and reverse, gap and go stuff that we can find. And at the end of the day, I tweet out the inside bars that you might want to keep an eye on. So hopefully you can do that. Maybe you can join me in Chicago, but if not, I hope you all have a great weekend. And for all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day to you, to all you moms. All right. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Maybe see some of you in Chicago, and certainly see a bunch of you on the VTF Monday morning. Now that's going to do it for this week. I'm Rob Smith in the Black VTF here at T3 Live.